that you are hearing. I didn't see any names.
I'm sure I'm not one. My name is Honorable Sadiq from Adamawa State. I'm a member of this committee in the House of Representatives. I just want to pass an information based on what the last speaker just said regarding the jurisdiction of the IST. I did a study in ABU as my thesis on the jurisdiction of the IST vis-a-vis the judicature provisions in the 1999 Constitution, excuse me. Just this morning, my bill regarding the jurisdiction of the IST has passed through first reading, and I think by next week to come through second reading. Perhaps it will keep the master plan in respect of other things that the petitioners will bring. Thank you very much.
Yes, I haven't heard, one key thing I haven't heard in the last 2 days, and I think is critical to our success, is the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the role that tax policy is going to play in the promotion of the capital market, both in the equity, debt, and various other products. And I think they should definitely be at the table for discussion. Thank you.
Yes, Chief.
Yes. One thing I want us to do is to institutionalize annual review of the implementation of the master plan. So there has to be a strategic implementation committee. Then there has to be a legislation creating the finance to fund the implementation process. And finally, we need government creating the enabling environment to ensure that there is stability in the policy, stability in the economy. Because the capital market alone does not mean the economy of the country. Every other incentive has to be made. There has to be a stability in fighting and preventing terrorism, whether it is Boko Haram, or it is IPOB, or it is Avengers. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, moderator. As part of my preparations for coming here, I had a little survey with 2 of my PhD students involving the 13 universities in north-central Nigeria and about 104 students, 104 lecturers. The survey was meant to ascertain the level of capital market literacy even among lecturers in public universities in Nigeria. I won't bother you with the design and methodology, but the finding is this, that less than 5% of the respondents say they know about, they're aware of ETF, for example, because we went beyond the traditional asset classes. ETFs, again, less than 8% said they're aware of other platforms like the NASS and the FMDQ. So what I'm saying is, the lecturers in the universities and tertiary institutions require regular, training, workshops organized by the SEC and even the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So we don't restrict these literacy things to just students. The people teaching these courses should also be well equipped, because you don't get that, from the university. Much of what I know today in capital market I got because I wrote the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers exams. Thank you.
Yes, Chair. 1 minute. 1 minute. I actually talked about appropriation bill, and I talked about the capital market being a very insignificant amount of what is coming out of it. But there's something I also want to say around the oversight of the National Assembly. Almost every institution that either governs or makes laws or makes policies in Nigeria has an oversight committee. I think the oversight committees at the National Assembly should begin to, at every point that they have this engagement, emphasize on the issue around the capital market and how it can be put into mainstream decision making as they take those, as they meet those institutions. I think that's very important. Thank you.
I have to be fair because I've virtually given everyone an opportunity. So, Rilwan. Huh?
Okay, I wanted to touch on what Jallo discussed. He mentioned the fact that when the Monetary Policy Committee meets, the entire country stops until. He also talked about the fact that in the budget, but if you link this to the reality is that the sectors of this economy that are subsidized, where there's rent, is where people are interested in. You can have a document as big as this, you can have whatever you like to do. This economy has three major sources of subsidies and rent. And until those subsidies are removed, you will continue to have this lopsided allocation of resources in terms of time and revenue and importance. Number one subsidy in this country is the exchange rate. So everybody listens to the MPC because they want to hear what this disequilibrium, because we're talking about general dynamic equilibrium. Once you have that disequilibrium, and because 18% of this population are traders, wholesale and retail trade, who depend on foreign currency, not only for their imports, but also for trading across the west coast of Africa. So the exchange rate, that price is so important, and everybody is watching for the signals. Second is petroleum subsidy. Everybody is worried about it. The price of petrol went up. If nominal price of petrol went up to 145, effective price of petrol was already 162. Now, what has happened in 3 weeks? The actual volume of petrol purchased in this country has dropped by 35%. So there was a phantom. And because it's a subsidy, subsidies are reverse taxes. You have actually reduced the income of the people. And everybody in this country, in the last 3 weeks, has been complaining. They don't know why they are broke, but all they know is that they are broke, or somebody who's close to them is trying to borrow money, or, they can, because that is aggregate income that has been reduced because the subsidies are removed. And it has led to a more rational way of behaving. And when that happens, and there's equilibrium, you'll find that the economy can then start. What you have done is to have a reset. And that's the beginning of an economic rebirth. Thank you.
Andrew, do you have, anything? Okay.
The third is actually on fertilizers, but that has been taken care of because of what's happening in Elemek Petrochemical. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, maybe we also have the fourth one, maybe subsidy of policies and so on that will help capital market. Why is the MC? I still have, okay, he's not here. Yes. The MC is not here, so.
I'm not that benevolent, sir.
Okay, after him.
Okay, sir.
My name is Ike Chiokem. I work with AfroInvest. We talk very much about getting back investor confidence, and Jallo just gave a hint of how disconnected our policymakers are with the capital markets, particularly when they are talking about factors that would greatly influence the market. I mean, take for instance the last MPC meeting where the CBN announced the coming of potentially a flexible exchange rate mechanism, and then did nothing after that.
No, it's coming.
It's coming. Well, the market reacted very strongly. Yeah. You see, there was a bit of euphoria in the market, and when we saw no action, it went back again. Yeah. And these actions have significant impact in influencing and affecting investor confidence. One of the flip side of it is that often when we talk about investor confidence, we're all too quick to say that brokers did some nasty things in 2008. I think that is really overflogging the issue. When we look at the totality of the challenges of 2008, 2009, I think the brokers' contribution was probably about 10% of it. Most of the issuers, and mostly the banks, were the ringleaders in that. But when our policymakers come out and say brokers all the time, and brokers, realizing that brokers are the front line in the engagement with the retail customer, you're not helping the market at all. And I think we need to put that into perspective.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. MC, you gave everyone your benevolence.
Okay, sir.
Now the chairman will need a minute of your benevolence.
Okay, I'd just like to quickly add, Mr.
thanking me the opportunity to moderate this very distinguished panel. I'm glad that the SEC and, of course, the Capital Market Committee is doing a lot in laying the plan, the master plan to Nigeria from the executive, judiciary, and, of course, the legislature. I want to again commend the legislature for this very important step that you've taken to engage with us so as to put some impetus in the way and manner we implement the master plan. Like I said, we keep giving examples of Malaysia and benchmarking with them. The entire country rose up to that opportunity of implementing about 95% of the first plan, and they are now on the second plan. So it's a clarion call, and we need to make it very clear to other sectors of the financial system, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the insurance sector, etc., that we need to work together, because capital market serves virtually all sectors, including the ones that are uniquely regulated by other regulators. So it is important that the SEC and, of course, the Capital Market Committee continues to lay this plan to the public, and we need to do a lot more. Your regulators committee meetings will have to be rejuvenated, and anytime you come out of it, just like bankers committee, you need to make a statement. I mean, you have to occupy your own space. I noticed that in this country, if you don't occupy your space, somebody else. So you show some audacity because of the control, the power of the capital market. Show some audacity and occupy space, occupy policy-making state, so that people will follow. Because if you don't do that, then those who are working on the subsidies or capitalizing on subsidies will occupy all the space, and you'll be blamed for it. So I wish you luck. Thank you very much.
I have to audaciously.
Well, with that, we'll come to the end of the fifth and final technical session of this 2 days stakeholders forum on realizing the full potentials of the Nigerian economy through proactive capital market legislation, an event organized by the Senate and House of Representatives Joint Committee on Capital Market and Institutions in partnership with the Securities and Exchange Commission of Nigeria. Very enriching time it has been here, and would like to thank you for staying with us in the course of covering this very, very important event. With that, we'd like to thank you, and right now hand you back to our studios for our regular programming.